Hey everyone, this is Michael again, and welcome to the Monday Night Raw review. Monday Night Raw tonight was from the Amalie Arena in Tampa, Florida. This is the Fallout Monday Night Raw after Royal Rumble. And Monday Night Raw just ended, and I gotta say, it was a good show tonight. Really enjoyed Monday Night Raw tonight. I thought this show was better than the Royal Rumble that we got on Saturday, because the Royal Rumble, I thought, was just very underwhelming, very mediocre, in my opinion. But overall, good show Monday Night Raw was tonight. But tonight, we saw Finn Balor and Damian Priest. They defended the Undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship against Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, DIY. We had Shayna Baszler and Zoey Stark versus Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. Jey Uso was in action. He ended up taking on Bronson Reed. The Intercontinental Championship was on the line, where Gunther defended the title against Kofi Kingston. We had Asuka and Kairi Sane versus Tegan and Natalya. And in the main event, we had Drew McIntyre versus Sami Zayn. And they switched up the commentary team for Monday Night Raw. Michael Cole is still going to be doing commentary for Monday Night Raw. Wade Barrett is out of commentary for Raw, and they brought in Pat McAfee. So Pat McAfee is now the official commentator, along with Michael Cole, on Monday Night Raw. It's great to see Pat McAfee and Michael Cole do commentary again. In my opinion, they are the best commentary duo, more recent in WWE. But overall, Monday Night Raw, good show tonight. But before I get into the review, if you guys haven't checked out my previous video that I uploaded earlier today, I did a review showing off the Ultimate Oz, the definitive collector's edition of The Wizard of Oz on Laserdisc. So if you haven't checked out that video, definitely give it a watch. Talked about it and showed you all what comes in that edition. So be sure to check out the video. But anyways, let's jump right into the review. Monday Night Raw opened up tonight, and we saw Michael Cole and Pat McAfee end up making his way to the ring. Michael Cole ended up announcing that Pat McAfee will be on the commentary team for Monday Night Raw moving forward, and Wade Barrett will not be there. Wade Barrett is out of commentary for Monday Night Raw. What they do with Wade Barrett, I don't know. Maybe Wade Barrett goes to SmackDown and he does commentary on SmackDown along with Corey Graves. But yeah, very happy that Pat McAfee is a part of the Monday Night Raw commentary team along with Michael Cole. They just are absolutely great on commentary together. And Pat McAfee brings his energy to the show with his commentary. And then we had CM Punk. CM Punk made his way out, and he is injured because at the Royal Rumble, he ended up tearing his triceps in the men's Rumble match. So he is going to miss WrestleMania. So his right arm was in the sling, and the crowd started chanting for Punk. He then looked up at the WrestleMania 40 sign, and he put his head down, very disappointed. So Punk ended up saying that he came real close on Saturday night and felt like he had it in the palm of his hand. He wanted to say that he's not mad at anybody. He's not mad at Cody Rhodes. Punk then congratulated Cody on winning the Rumble. He ended up saying a lot of times in this business, it's not about what you deserve. It's what you earn. He ended up saying that Cody earned it. Punk ended up saying that he hopes Cody goes to WrestleMania in Philadelphia and finishes up his story. And he ended up saying going back-to-back in the Royal Rumble is a hell of an accomplishment. He ended up saying that it's like the Tampa Bay Lightning, going back-to-back and winning the Stanley Cup. Punk went on to say that while he came close, it doesn't count in this business, and it only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. He ended up saying that he's never believed in luck, but he feels a little bit unlucky. He ended up saying that in the course of the Rumble, he tore his right tricep. He ended up saying that as much as he tried and asked to tape it and worked through it to get to Elimination Chamber and to the main event of WrestleMania, it's not in the cards. Punk ended up saying that he doesn't want anyone to feel sorry for him. He ended up saying that when he thinks of this situation, how much it bumps him out because his goal as a kid was to main event WrestleMania. And he ended up saying maybe it's just not ever going to happen. Punk ended up saying that he doesn't want anybody to feel sorry for him. And Punk ended up saying that he has a friend named Chad Gilbert who has cancer really bad. He ended up saying that he has a beautiful wife and a daughter, Lily. Punk ended up saying that he sits with him as he gets chemotherapy and that he is never down. Chad is never down, and that's a fight. So Punk ended up saying this injury is just a flesh wound. He ended up saying when he says the best in the world, it's not because he always wins. He loses more than he wins. So he ended up saying that he had a dream, he got an opportunity, and did it because it scared the crap out of him. He ended up saying that it scared him as much as coming back after 10 years of not being there when he never wanted to leave in the first place. He ended up saying that it scared him, and that WrestleMania scares, him. He ended up saying that it's a goal that will haunt him for the rest of his life, and that this is a bump in the world. Punk ended up saying best in the world are the people who fight cancer or put their lives on the line, like Matt Flanagan, a Chicago firefighter. Punk ended up saying that he happens to be an entertainer, and for some reason, the people love him. He ended up saying that he has overcome adversity countless times. He ended up saying that he doesn't focus on the negative, and none of it matters. He ended up saying that the people wake up. They're teachers and garbage men. Punk ended up saying that they keep going and put food on their families' tables. He ended up saying that WrestleMania 40 isn't in the cards, but he's a Chicago Cubs fan, and that there's always next year. So Drew McIntyre's music ended up hitting. So Punk ended up saying this is not what he was expecting. So the crowd booed McIntyre. McIntyre ended up saying that he has said some terrible things about Punk since his return, and that he meant them. And McIntyre ended up saying that Punk was a terrible person in the past, and a poison in the locker room. He ended up saying, however, listening to Punk talking just now was something he could relate to. McIntyre ended up saying that he has gone through some changes recently, and that he's not much of a spiritual person, but he wants Punk to know he prayed for him to get injured, and it happened. He ended up saying when he got into the Royal Rumble, he targeted Punk and violently assaulted him. He ended up saying their champion took that title to the next level, and that he didn't want Punk to take it. And then Punk eliminated McIntyre. McIntyre ended up saying that he couldn't sleep, but when he heard about the injury, he slept like a baby. He ended up saying, mission accomplished. So McIntyre ended up saying that he will find a way into the World Heavyweight Championship match at WrestleMania, and that he'll go to the main event and live CM Punk's dream again. So McIntyre ended up telling Punk to look him in the eyes when he speaks to him. Punk then stepped up to McIntyre. He ended up saying to McIntyre that his heart hurts more than his tricep. He ended up telling McIntyre that he'll rehab the tricep and will main event WrestleMania. But first, on his checklist is McIntyre. So Punk ended up saying to McIntyre that he is coming for him. McIntyre then ended up going to attack Punk. Punk ended up ducking, and he started kicking away at McIntyre. McIntyre quickly ended up taking Punk down with a Glasgow kiss, and he ended up stomping on Punk's injured arm. Sami Zayn's music ended up hitting. Sami Zayn ran down to make the save. Sami Zayn started punching away at McIntyre until McIntyre retreated out of the ring. So the doctors end up running down to help Punk. Sami Zayn then ended up helping Punk to his feet. And that was pretty much how the segment ended. But overall, this was a good segment here. Really liked it. Punk coming out there explaining about his injury, about injuring his tricep. And he's not going to be cleared to compete at WrestleMania. He will be missing it. So anybody that wanted Punk versus Rollins, or if WWE wanted to call up Stone Cold Steve Austin and have Austin work WrestleMania, and then they do Punk versus Austin, which I personally, don't want to see Austin back in the ring. After what we saw with him and Kevin Owens, no, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see Austin in the ring again. Let him stay retired. So anybody that wants to see those two and Punk having either of those matches, get it out of your head. It's not going to happen. But, with McIntyre saying, he'll find his way to get into the World Heavyweight Championship match at WrestleMania, I wouldn't be surprised about that. So, but overall, good segment this was. And, of course, McIntyre ended up attacking Punk, stomping on Punk's arm. That is a right way to take Punk off of TV so he could go to rehab and, just rest up on that tricep. And then we had the Judgment Day. So we had the Judgment Day. They were watching backstage with what just happened in the ring with CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. Rhea Ripley ended up saying that if Bayley chooses her at WrestleMania, then it's her funeral. And she'll remind Bayley who she is. She ended up saying tonight is about sending a message that wasn't sent at the Royal Rumble. So Damian Priest ended up telling Rhea that they're done with distractions. Balor ended up saying that everyone is getting too comfortable challenging them. He ended up saying tonight they'll show the world how vicious they are. So pretty much that was basically that. But, Bayley, she is going to choose Io Sky as her opponent at WrestleMania. I think Rhea Ripley is going to get Becky Lynch at WrestleMania because Becky Lynch isn't doing nothing for WrestleMania. So that would be, Rhea's opponent, Becky Lynch. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, this is the first hour of Monday Night Raw here, and the first hour was completely commercial-free. So we had a commercial-free first hour. And so then we saw Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, DIY. They were walking backstage. Johnny Gargano ended up saying that they've waited 7 years for this opportunity. And Ciampa ended up saying that they've dreamed of this moment as children. By watching, wrestling on Saturday mornings and dreaming about this. He ended up saying that they'll show the world they are DIY. So then Gargano and Ciampa made their way out. So we had the first match, Gargano and Ciampa, DIY versus Balor and Damian Priest. This was for the Undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship. This was a very good match here. Good TV match this was. We had Damian Priest and Tommaso Ciampa starting it off. Both Priest and Ciampa locked up. Priest ended up powering Ciampa to the corner, started punching away at him. Priest then ended up putting Ciampa in his corner, and he started punching away at Ciampa. He then tagged in Balor. Balor then ended up sending Ciampa into the ropes, started punching him down. Balor then elbowed Ciampa in his head. Ciampa then ducked the clothesline from Balor and tagged in Johnny Gargano. Gargano and Ciampa end up taking Balor down and end up clotheslining Priest over the top rope. So Ciampa and Gargano end up sending Balor out of the ring next to Priest, and both Gargano and Ciampa end up hitting Priest and Balor with some stereo planches. Of course, then Gargano and Ciampa sat on the apron. They did, of course, their, patting themselves on the back. I love when they do that. It's just great. So Gargano ended up getting Balor in the ring. He tagged in Ciampa. So both Balor and Ciampa ended up hitting Balor with some back elbows. Balor then begged Ciampa off before getting out of the ring. Balor then ended up running in and tagged Damian Priest. Ciampa then attacked Priest. Balor ended up knocking Balor ended up knocking Ciampa out of the ring. So Priest ended up going outside. He ended up lifting Ciampa before dropping him face first on the apron. Priest then got Ciampa in the ring and tagged Balor in. Priest then started kicking Ciampa, and Balor followed up with a scissor kick. He ended up going for the cover, to which Ciampa kicked out. Balor then applied a rear chinlock on Ciampa. Ciampa started firing up, but Balor ended up keeping him back with a front face lock. Ciampa powered over on Balor, and he tagged Gargano in, but the ref didn't see it. So Balor then threw Ciampa into Priest, who then kicked him down. Balor ended up going for the cover, and Ciampa ended up kicking out. Priest came in, started forearming Ciampa. He then ended up talking trash, but Ciampa ended up fighting back at him and Balor. Priest then ended up stomping Ciampa from making a tag, but Ciampa ended up rolling him up for a 2 count. Priest ended up quickly forearming him down and tagged Balor in. Balor then started punching Ciampa, but Ciampa started fighting back. Balor ended up trying for a falling elbow drop, but Ciampa countered that into a reverse DDT, which was good. Later on, Priest ended up going for the South of Heaven on Ciampa, but Ciampa ended up kneeing him. Priest started fighting back with a cradle front slam on Ciampa. So we had Priest end up going for the cover. Gargano broke up the pin. Priest then ended up throwing Gargano out of the ring. Balor then ended up talking to Priest, and Balor ended up tagging in. Priest ended up going for the South of Heaven, but Ciampa ended up getting out of that. Ciampa then ended up crouching Balor on the top rope. So Gargano ended up hitting a slingshot DDT on Priest. Ciampa then ended up hitting an air raid for a near fall. And then Gargano and Ciampa ended up hitting Balor with the meat in the middle. Gargano ended up going for the cover, but Priest ended up pulling Balor's leg over, and he put his foot on the bottom rope. Ciampa then ended up going for a plancha on Priest, but Priest ended up punching Ciampa out of midair. So we had Priest. He couldn't afford to do a suicide dive from Gargano. Gargano ended up getting in the ring. Balor ended up rolling him up with an inside cradle for a near fall. So Balor connected with a sling blade and a woo drop kick. Gargano ended up avoiding the coup de grace and locked Balor in the Gargano escape. Priest then ended up running in, and Ciampa ended up taking Priest down with a Sicilian stretch, which this was great. They were trying to make both Balor and Priest, one of them, tap out. So Priest started fighting up with Ciampa on him, and Priest slammed Ciampa down onto Gargano to break up the Gargano escape. So at the end of the match, Priest got into the ring. Ciampa ended up rolling him up for a near fall. Priest quickly forearmed Ciampa in the throat and tagged Balor in. Priest ended up hitting Ciampa with the razor's edge. Balor then immediately followed up with that with the coup de grace. He ended up going for the cover, and there you go. Balor and Priest end up winning the match, retaining the Undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship. Post-match, we had Dominic Mysterio and JD McDonough end up running down to celebrate with Priest and Balor. Balor then got on the mic. He ended up shouting that they're still the Undisputed WWE Tag Team Champions. So Priest ended up saying that for weeks. They've all seen a different side of the Judgment Day. He ended up saying, we all know who the reason for that is. It's the same person that everyone in the ring owes an apology to. He He ended up saying after the Royal Rumble, Priest ended up saying that after the Royal Rumble, he wants to apologize to him, and that it's not a secret. So Priest then called R-Truth out to the ring. R-Truth ended up coming out, and he looked a little confused about what Damian Priest was saying and why Priest had to call him out. So the crowd was happy to see R-Truth. Priest ended up saying that R-Truth has his word, that he won't attack him. So Balor ended up saying that Priest is a man of his word. R-Truth then got into the ring. R-Truth got on the mic. He ended up saying that he's glad Priest is going to let him say his shtick, because it doesn't work when he says it. So R-Truth ended up asking everyone to please all rise for the Judgment Day. So the crowd ended up cheering at R-Truth. Priest ended up saying that he's been thinking about the Royal Rumble. R-Truth ended up saying, oh, we can talk about that later. R-Truth ended up saying that he hasn't been able to sleep since it happened. He ended up saying that he relocated Priest's money into crypto, filed his taxes, liquidated his assets, and he is good to go. Priest ended up saying that R-Truth has no clue what that means. He ended up saying that Judgment Day is a family. Truth ended up saying that Priest is like his older brother. Priest then pointed out that Truth is more older. So Balor is like that weird uncle we've all got. Unpredictable. But we still love him. He ended up saying, what more is there to say about Tom and Nick? So the crowd ended up booing Dominic. He ended up saying, as for JD, he's like that stepbrother you've got that you don't want to admit is in the family. So Priest ended up saying to R-Truth has to let him finish talking. Priest ended up saying that he was going to say that Judgment Day is like a family. But unfortunately, R-Truth is not part of the Judgment Day. Priest ended up saying that he's always liked R-Truth and doesn't want to be the one to do this. So JD McDonough attacked R-Truth from behind, and The Miz quickly ended up running down to make the save, but he was beat down by Priest, Balor, and Dominic, and then McDonough ended up joining to beat down The Miz as well. Balor then held Miz down, and Dominic ended up hitting Miz with the frog splash, and pretty much that was basically that. The Judgment Day stood over The Miz and R-Truth, Awesome Truth, and they posed in the ring, and that was basically that. But overall, very good match between DIY and Priest and Balor here. Obviously, they were going to retain the titles. Really liked what happened after, with R-Truth and the Judgment Day being down on Truth, which got boos from the crowd. And then we had Shayna Baszler and Zoey Stark versus Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. What a boring match this was. And of course, Samantha Irvin, they had to bring back the cringe of her announcing, Chelsea Green, going, Chelsea Green. So fucking awful it is. So cringe. But I don't need to go over, the moves here in the match because the match was boring. Didn't even care for it. Shayna Baszler and Zoey Stark won the match. Stark ended up hitting Chelsea Green with the Z360. And that was that. Boring match. What a waste of time it was. Then we had Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes ended up coming out. Of course, everybody got in there. Whoa! Twice. Of course, Cody Rhodes ended up winning the Royal Rumble. He won the Royal Rumble last year and now this year. So Cody looked amazed by the reception from the crowd that they were giving him. Crowd was chanting, "You deserve it," to Cody. And then he goes on to do a shtick saying, what do you want to talk about? So, Tampa Bay, what do you want to talk about? Cody ended up saying that he has something to say in response to his own question. He he kept saying on the way out here, he heard something for the first time that was music to his ears. He then asked Samantha Irvin to say it one more time. So Samantha Irvin ended up repeating her introduction to Cody for a second time. And Cody then posed on the turnbuckles. Cody ended up thanking her. He ended up saying that there are a lot of folks here, and that they come to Raw, WWE Live, SmackDown, and the PLEs. And the expectation is on the superstars to give them the best action and the best 3 hours of their lives. Really, the best 3 hours of their lives? Really, Cody? The best 3 hours. Kidding me? Not the best 3 hours on Monday Night Raw. And he kept saying, with those, they have to help escape for a bit, the fans. He kept saying that the people don't realize that the superstars need to escape too. He said the last 48 hours of his life have been challenging. He kept saying all is well, but on Saturday, they will never know how much he needed them. So Cody looked like he was getting ready to cry here. He ended up saying that he is endlessly grateful for that. But let's get to it. He ended up saying, let's make WrestleMania 40 official. And then we had Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins made his way to the ring, so we got a second sing-along here. Great, everybody was going, whoa. So we got 2 whoas from Cody, and then we go into whoa for Seth Rollins. It's American Idol. It's an American Idol segment here. Crowd singing along to Cody, and then sings along to Seth Rollins. So Seth Rollins came out. He was wearing a blue suit. Looked like he was going to do karate in it. Looked like a karate uniform that he was wearing with his suit. So Rollins ended up saying Tampa Bay is right, and that Cody does deserve it. Rollins ended up saying that because they haven't always seen eye to eye, but over the past year, they've developed a mutual respect for each other. You ended up saying back-to-back Royal Rumbles are special. Rollins ended up saying that he's going to be real with Cody, and that if Cody chooses to fight Roman at WrestleMania, he is making a mistake. Rollins ended up saying that he wants Cody to fight him instead. No, we don't need to see another match with Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes. We don't. I don't even want to see it. We already had enough matches with Cody and Rollins. So, Rollins ended up saying that he understands the concern, but all he wants is for them to hear him out. Rollins ended up saying that he watched Cody at the Royal Rumble press conference, and he ended up saying that he was the guy, but he isn't. Rollins ended up saying that Reigns isn't even the guy anymore, and that he is the guy. He ended up saying that the World Heavyweight Championship is the title in the company. Rollins ended up saying that last year he won the Rumble, and that it made sense to go after Roman, but that was when there was only one champion. Rollins ended up saying that the landscape has changed, and all Cody has thought about every day is Roman Reigns. So Rollins ended up having to ask, what title does Cody want? Does he want the Hollywood title? The Hulk Hogan title? The one for poses and fraud? The one people politic their way to the top to get? Or does he want the Dusty Rhodes title? Does he want the Blue Collar Championship? That's what the World Heavyweight Championship means. He ended up saying it's who is the very best between these ropes. Rollins ended up saying that he could ask him which title Dusty Rhodes would rather have. But it's not about him. It's about Cody. He ended up saying this is about Cody and his decision. Rollins ended up saying that he doesn't need an answer right now, and that's the biggest decision he'll make in his entire life. Rollins ended up saying that he wants to know what's in Cody's heart. What kind of man does Cody want to be? So Cody, at this point, he looked really conflicted. And he ended up saying that he has an insane amount of respect for Rollins. And this is the last thing he woke up thinking that they would be talking about. And he would be thinking about. So Cody ended up saying that he will tell him this. He'll think about it. So Cody walked off, and Rollins ended up smirking, and pretty much that was basically how the segment ended. But overall, this was a very good segment here. It was very well done, with Cody here and Rollins. Like I said, I don't want to see Seth versus Cody again. Please. Let's do Cody versus Roman. That's the story. Have Cody versus Roman. Have, of course, Roman defend the Undisputed WWE Universal Championship. Have Cody beat Roman at WrestleMania. So that way, Cody could win the championship and end Roman's undefeated streak. And have Cody finish his story. Don't go the way of booking Seth versus Cody. We've seen enough of it already. That's what it needs to be. Cody versus Roman for the Undisputed WWE Universal Championship. Have Cody beat Roman and end his undefeated streak. Cody is the new champion, and so Cody could finish his story. That is the way it has to go. And then we saw Kofi Kingston. Kofi Kingston was backstage with Xavier Woods. He ended up saying that a lot of people think about the funny things the New Day does, but they forget that they also win titles. And Kofi ended up saying that he's going to be a 5-time Intercontinental Champion. I'm sorry, Kofi, that's not happening. And then we had Jey Uso versus Bronson Reed. And this was a decent match here. Of course, Jey Uso, when he came out, everybody was doing the Jey Uso. So both Jey and Bronson ended up locking up. Reed ended up powering Jey into the corner. Jey ducked the right hand and started punching away at Reed. He hit the ropes, but Reed avalanched Jey down. Reed then started punching and headbutting Jey into the corner. Reed then connected with a short arm clothesline to Jey. He then started clubbing Jey into the ropes. Reed ended up whipping Jey, but Jey held the ropes and sidestepped him to send Reed out of the ring. Jey then connected with a suicide dive. Reed then quickly shoved Jey into the ring post. He then charged at Jey, but Jey ended up moving out of the way, and Bronson Reed went into the post. And then Monday Night Raw went to commercial, and then it went into the picture-in-picture. So then when Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, we had Bronson Reed in control of the match. Jey started fighting up, started punching away at Bronson Reed. Jey ended up punching Reed to the corner, started charging, but Reed ended up putting Jey on the apron. Jey ended up kicking Reed back. He ended up going up to the top rope for a diamond cross body block. So it connected. So Jey ended up going for the cover, and Reed ended up kicking out. Jey then started kicking and uppercutting Reed. Reed quickly swatted Jey down. He ended up hitting a senton on Jey, and Reed ended up going for the cover. Jey ended up kicking out. Jey then ducked the clothesline, and he super kicked Reed twice. Reed didn't go down, so Jey did a third super kick, which took Reed off his feet. So Jey ended up going for the cover, and Reed ended up kicking out. Jey then went to the top rope, but Reed cut him off. Reed ended up going for a superplex off the top, but Jey ended up punching Reed down to the canvas. Jey ended up going for the Uso splash. Reed moved out of the way. So Reed connected with the Death Valley driver on Jey. He ended up going for the cover, to which Jey kicked out. So Reed then avalanched Jey in the corner. He headed to the top rope. Reed ended up going for the tsunami, but Jey moved out of the way. Jey then super kicked Reed, and he ended up hitting Reed with the spear. Jey then went to the top rope and hit the Uso splash on Reed. So Jey ended up going for the cover, and there you go. Jey Uso ended up winning the match. and the crowd was happy that Jey ended up winning. Everybody was doing the Jey Uso. But overall, decent match it was between Jey and Bronson Reed here. And then we saw Adam Pearce. Adam Pearce was with Andrade. Andrade has signed a contract for Monday Night Raw. So Andrade is the new superstar for Monday Night Raw. So Nick Aldis, SmackDown General Manager Nick Aldis, walked in. He ended up saying that SmackDown has a handsome offer for Andrade. Andrade ended up telling Nick Aldis to say hello to Zelina Vega for him. So Andrade walked off. Nick Aldis ended up saying that he lent damage control. But this is how it is. So Nick Aldis' phone ended up ringing. And it was Braun Breaker. So since Andrade signed with Monday Night Raw, which in my opinion should have signed with SmackDown because of course you have Zelina Vega there. Zelina Vega managed Andrade. And also his wife is on SmackDown, Charlotte Flair. I'm surprised he signed with Raw. But since Andrade has signed with Raw, SmackDown is potentially going to sign Braun Breaker. And that is a good move there. Braun Breaker, when he signs with SmackDown, he is going to do a very good job on SmackDown. So that might come Friday. And then we saw Gunther. Gunther was backstage. He kept saying that Kofi Kingston will remember this night for the rest of his life. And that he will soon forget about him. Gunther ended up telling Kofi to leave it all out there in the ring. He ended up saying after tonight, no one will talk about Kofi. And he'll continue being the longest reigning Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion of all time. And then he wished Kofi good luck. And that was all what Gunther had to say. And then we had Jackie Redmond. Jackie Redmond was backstage with Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch ended up saying to Jackie Redmond that she let a lot of people down, but she'll fight harder and dirtier until she's back on top in the main event. So, little interview with Becky Lynch there. And then we had Kofi Kingston versus Gunther. Intercontinental Championship on the line. And this was a good match here. Although the match went on too long, in my opinion. That was the only thing that was about it was it went on too long. But still, it was a good match. So the match got underway. Kofi ended up taking it to Gunther. Kofi hit the ropes. Gunther ended up catching Kofi with a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker. And then Gunther ended up applying the Boston Crab. That's when Monday Night Raw went to commercial. So during the picture-in-picture, Kofi ended up twisting out of the Boston Crab. And Gunther ended up elbowing him in the head. So as Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, Gunther was in control of the match. He ended up elbowing Kofi in his nose. Kofi started punching and headbutting Gunther. But Gunther ended up cutting off Kofi's momentum with a chop. Those vicious chops from Gunther. So Gunther ended up viciously whipping Kofi into the corner. So Gunther's chest was bleeding a bit from the chops from Kofi. That was during the picture-in-picture. Gunther ended up grabbing Kofi and he viciously whipped him into the corner. Gunther ended up grabbing Kofi's legs. He ended up going for the Boston Crab. And Kofi ended up kicking Gunther back. Gunther ended up quickly grabbing Kofi, ended up hitting the scoop slam. So then Gunther ended up uppercutting Kofi a few times. Kofi ended up chopping him, but Gunther ended up delivering a chop to Kofi's chest. Gunther then ended up sending Kofi into the corner. Kofi then popped out with a clothesline to Gunther. He then started punching away at Gunther and booted him back. Kofi ended up catching Gunther with a pendulum kick, and he ended up heading to the top rope. Kofi leapt off the top rope, but Gunther ended up catching Kofi, and he delivered a backbreaker. Gunther ended up going back to the Boston Crab, and of course, Monday Night Raw went to commercial. So during the picture-in-picture, the Boston Crab was locked in on Kofi by Gunther. Kofi ended up getting to the bottom rope to break up the hold. Then Gunther sized Kofi up, hit a German suplex. And then as Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, Kofi ended up stunning Gunther with a knee to his face. Kofi then chopped Gunther's chest twice, and he drop-kicked him. Gunther then sidestepped a leaping clothesline, and he ended up going for a sleeper hold to Kofi. Kofi ended up fighting it. Gunther ended up going for a powerbomb, but Kofi ended up fighting that as well. He ended up hitting Gunther with a hurricanrana over the top rope. Kofi then ended up going for a suicide dive, but he got caught by Gunther, and Gunther ended up viciously throwing Kofi into the ring apron. And Kofi ended up hitting the ring apron awkwardly, which that was, hard to see. So Kofi ended up hitting the Trouble in Paradise. He ended up crawling over to Gunther, but Gunther rolled out of the ring before Kofi could pin him. So we had Kofi end up hitting the SOS later on to Gunther. He ended up going for the cover, to which Gunther ended up kicking out. Gunther ended up crushing Kofi with a lariat, and it was followed up by a drop kick. Gunther then delivered a powerbomb to Kofi. He ended up going for the cover, and there you go. Gunther ended up winning the match, retaining the Intercontinental Championship. Post-match, Xavier Woods ended up running down to check on Kofi, and out of nowhere, Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci ran down. Kaiser and Vinci ended up attacking both Woods and Kofi. Woods ended up fighting back, but Kaiser and Vinci ended up whipping him into the ring post. Xavier bounced off that ring post on the outside, which he heard the other smack off the ring post. But overall, very good match between Gunther and Kofi. But match, the only downfall of the match was that it went on too long. And then we had Jackie Redmond. Jackie Redmond ended up asking Sami Zayn about facing Drew McIntyre. Because, of course, Drew McIntyre ended up taking Sami Zayn out, a month ago. So Sami ended up saying that it was hard to be on the sidelines at the hands of a man who makes an excuse for everything. Sami Zayn ended up saying that he came back at number 30 and was targeted by Drew McIntyre again. He ended up saying that McIntyre never blames himself for his problems, and that he will give McIntyre a reality check. So pretty much that was basically that. And then we had the Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane, the Women's Tag Team Champions, versus Natalya and Tegan Nox. This was a boring match, in my opinion. Just didn't care what was going on here. Obviously, I knew that Asuka and Kairi Sane were going to win the match, which they did. Asuka and Kairi Sane ended up hitting a reverse DDT insane elbow to Natalya. So pretty much that was that. The Kabuki Warriors ended up winning. And then we saw Katana Chance and Kaden Carter. They were watching the match backstage. Jackie Redmond came up to them. She kept asking what was next for Chance and Carter. Chance and Carter ended up telling Jackie Redmond that they'll have a rematch next week on Monday Night Raw against the Kabuki Warriors. So there you go. Next week on Raw in St. Louis, it's going to be Katana Chance and Kaden Carter versus Asuka and Kairi Sane, the rematch for the Women's Tag Team Championship. Obviously, Chance and Carter are not going to win it. They were just transitional champions. And then we had Bayley. Bayley was in the ring with her Damage Control girls. You had Asuka, Kairi Sane still out there, Io Sky, and Dakota Kai. Bayley got on the mic. she ended up saying that she'll let the people take a picture of them in the ring. She ended up saying, when was the last time the women's tag team champions, the women's champion, and the Royal Rumble winner were all in the ring together? She ended up saying that it's never been done before, and that this is history, all because of her. She ended up saying that everyone thought she was done, that she wasn't as good coming back from injury. She ended up saying that she might not have been on the Royal Rumble poster, but she is a winner. Bayley ended up saying that she won against the most stacked women's roster they've had. She ended up saying that she also beat Rhea Ripley's record and lasted 63 minutes and 3 seconds in the Rumble. So Rhea Ripley came out to the stage. Rhea Ripley got on the mic. She ended up saying that the only reason Bayley beat her time in the Rumble is because she wasn't in the Rumble. She ended up saying that the rest of Damage Control has gold. She ended up saying that if Bayley chooses her for WrestleMania, it will remain that way. So then all of a sudden, Nia Jax ended up attacking Rhea Ripley from behind. Nia Jax started fighting Rhea Ripley into the ring, and she ended up hitting her with a leg drop. Nia Jax then delivered another leg drop to Rhea Ripley, and then another one. So she had 3 leg drops on Rhea Ripley. So then Nia Jax went to the rope, the top rope. She ended up hitting Rhea Ripley with the Annihilator. So Nia Jax ended up approaching Bayley. Bayley was cowering in the corner, frightened at Nia Jax. So Nia Jax ended up telling Bayley to pick Io as her opponent for WrestleMania, because Rhea Ripley is not making it to WrestleMania. Bayley ended up saying, "Oh, I'm going to make my decision this Friday." So that was basically that. So we're going to get Bayley's decision Friday on SmackDown. Hopefully she faces Io Sky for the Women's Championship. I think, Bayley's going to be kicked out of Damage Control, and then that's when we're going to see her face Io Sky for the Women's Championship, and she'll defeat Io Sky at WrestleMania. Bayley will have a WrestleMania moment. And Nia Jax, she's going to face Rhea Ripley at Elimination Chamber. So that's your matchup for Elimination Chamber. Nia Jax versus Rhea Ripley. Main event. Sami Zayn versus Drew McIntyre. This was a good main event, but we've seen these two go at it before. Match ended up getting underway. McIntyre ended up powering Sami Zayn to the corner. So Sami Zayn ducked the chop. He ended up chopping McIntyre's chest. Sami Zayn ended up hitting some jabs to McIntyre. He ended up sending McIntyre over the top rope. He ended up going for a plancha, but McIntyre caught him. McIntyre ended up slinging Sami Zayn over the commentary table. He ended up putting Sami Zayn back in the ring. Sami Zayn then ended up sending McIntyre over the commentary table with a suicide dive as McIntyre looked at Pat McAfee. So Monday Night Raw went to commercial. Then when Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, McIntyre was in control of the match. He ended up chopping Sami Zayn in the corner. Sami Zayn was holding his shoulder in pain. McIntyre ended up pulling him up by his beard, but Sami Zayn ended up fighting back. McIntyre ended up backing Zayn up. He ended up chopping at his chest. He ended up putting Zayn on the top rope. He set up for the white noise, but Sami Zayn fought McIntyre off. And Sami Zayn hit a sunset flip powerbomb to McIntyre. He ended up going for the cover, to which McIntyre ended up kicking out. So Sami Zayn ended up backing up to deliver the Helluva Kick to McIntyre, but McIntyre popped out, ended up pinning a spine buster to Sami Zayn, which was followed up by a jackknife pin, and Sami Zayn ended up kicking out. McIntyre ended up following up with a sit-out powerbomb. He ended up going for the cover, and Sami Zayn ended up kicking out. So Sami Zayn ended up sidestepping McIntyre and sent McIntyre shoulder first into the ring post. Sami Zayn ended up going for a suplex, but he couldn't get McIntyre up, so McIntyre connected with a Glasgow kiss, and Sami Zayn was out cold here. McIntyre pulled himself to the top rope, but Sami Zayn ended up sweeping McIntyre's feet. Sami Zayn connected with a top rope superplex, which looked great. He slowly ended up getting up. He ended up going for the Hoover kick, but McIntyre ended up taking him down. McIntyre started counting down. The 3, 2, 1. And he was going for the Claymore, but Sami Zayn countered that into a Blue Thunder Bomb. So Sami Zayn ended up going for the cover, to which McIntyre ended up kicking out. So at the end of the match, we had McIntyre end up hitting a Glasgow kiss to Sami Zayn. McIntyre backed up, and Sami Zayn followed him for a Hoover kick. McIntyre ended up dropping down. He ended up covering up, and he inadvertently low-blowed Sami Zayn. His arms were like this, and Sami Zayn went right into it. So McIntyre then followed up with a Claymore kick, and he ended up going for the cover. And there you go. Drew McIntyre ended up winning the match. And pretty much that was how Monday Night Raw went off the air. Overall, good match between McIntyre and Sami Zayn, but like I said, we've seen these guys go at it before. But overall, very good Monday Night Raw was tonight. This was better than the Royal Rumble, in my opinion. Just the Royal Rumble show for this year was just underwhelming and absolutely disappointing. But anyways, that's it for the Monday Night Raw review. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed this review. Definitely give the video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe. Be sure to check out my previous video that I uploaded earlier today. The Ultimate Oz, the Definitive Edition, Collector's Edition of The Wizard of Oz on Laserdisc, my review of that. So check that out. And I'll see you all Wednesday night for AEW Dynamite. So see you all on Wednesday.